There are some people you never truly stop missing. Sometimes the feeling arrives without warning. A familiar song plays, an old picture appears, you pass a place that once held precious memories, and suddenly, your heart is back in another season of your life. Maybe today you miss someone whose voice you haven't heard in a long time, someone who passed away, someone who moved far away, someone who chose a different path, someone you thought would always be there. You may smile in front of others, but deep inside, there is still an empty space, only that person once filled. And perhaps the hardest part is realizing that life keeps moving forward, while part of your heart still longs for what used to be. But tonight, God wants you to know something. He sees every memory you hold close. He sees every silent tear. He sees every moment you wish you could have one more conversation, one more embrace, or one more day. And He has been beside you through every moment of longing, even when you felt completely alone. Missing someone is a kind of pain that many people carry quietly. It doesn't always show on the outside. People may see you laughing, working, attending family gatherings, and going about your day, but they cannot always see the ache that still lives inside your heart, because grief does not always look like tears. Sometimes grief looks like reaching for your phone before remembering there is no one to call. Sometimes it looks like sitting in a room that suddenly feels too quiet. Sometimes it appears during holidays, birthdays, anniversaries, or ordinary afternoons when a memory unexpectedly returns. There are moments when you hear a familiar phrase and instantly think of them, moments when you wish you could tell them about something that happened today, moments when you still imagine what life would be like if they were here beside you. Perhaps you have learned how to keep moving forward. You have continued showing up. You have carried responsibilities. You have done your best to remain strong. But there are nights when the loneliness feels heavier, nights when memories become vivid, nights when your heart whispers, "I miss them so much." And sometimes you wonder if anyone truly understands, because grief changes over time, but it doesn't always disappear. Love leaves an imprint. People who mattered deeply become woven into our stories. Their laughter remains in our memories. Their words still echo in our minds. Their absence becomes something we learn to live with, even when we wish we didn't have to. Maybe there are things you wish you had said. Maybe there are questions that will never receive answers. Maybe you carry regrets, wishing you had one more chance to hug them, forgive them, thank them, or simply sit beside them one last time. Those feelings are real. They are human, and they do not make you weak. They reveal the depth of your love, because only hearts that truly loved can feel such profound longing. And perhaps what hurts the most is not only missing the person, it is missing the version of yourself that existed when they were part of your daily life, missing the routines, missing the conversations, missing the sense of comfort that their presence once brought. But God sees every hidden burden you carry. He sees the tears you wipe away before anyone notices. He sees the moments when memories catch you off guard. He sees the courage it takes to keep living while carrying an invisible ache. And He understands that some losses cannot simply be replaced. Some people remain deeply loved forever. And tonight, God wants you to know that your longing has never gone unnoticed. Your pain matters, your memories matter, and your heart is not broken beyond healing. In the middle of your longing, God is still near. Even on the days when the silence feels overwhelming, even on the nights when memories seem stronger than hope, even when you sit alone, wishing you could hear their voice one more time, God is there. He is there in the quiet moments when tears come unexpectedly. He is there when an old photograph brings back a flood of emotions. He is there when you find yourself missing someone so deeply that words cannot fully explain what your heart feels. You may wonder why some losses hurt for so long, why certain memories still carry so much emotion, why some absences continue to leave an empty space inside you. But God understands. He understands because He created a heart capable of loving deeply. And hearts that love deeply also grieve deeply. He does not ask you to pretend you are fine. He does not ask you to hide your sadness. He does not ask you to stop remembering. Instead, He invites you to bring every memory, every tear, every question, and every moment of loneliness into His presence. You do not have to carry this pain by yourself. You do not have to be strong every single day. You do not have to have all the answers. God is patient with grieving hearts. He is gentle with wounded souls. He sits beside those who feel forgotten. He comforts those who feel empty. He stays close to those who miss someone they can no longer hold, say, or speak to. And perhaps tonight, what your heart needs most is not an explanation. Perhaps it needs reassurance. The reassurance that love never disappears. The reassurance that your memories are precious. The reassurance that your tears are seen. The reassurance that God has been beside you through every difficult moment. He has listened to every silent prayer. He has heard every whispered, "I miss them." He has carried you through days you thought you would never survive. And even now, He is carrying you still. So allow yourself to breathe tonight. Allow yourself to remember without shame. Allow yourself to miss them without feeling guilty. Because healing does not mean forgetting. Healing means learning to hold love and loss in the same heart, while trusting that God will gently restore peace where pain has lived for far too long. And He is already beginning that work within you. One of the hardest battles people fight is the battle no one else can see. It is the battle that takes place inside the heart after someone is gone. The world keeps moving. People continue with their routines. Conversations change. Years pass. But a part of you still remembers. A part of you still waits. A part of you still longs for what once was. And sometimes that invisible battle becomes exhausting. You wonder if you should be stronger by now. You wonder why certain memories can still bring tears after so much time has passed. You wonder why your heart still aches when everyone else seems to have moved on. But grief does not follow a schedule. Love does not disappear because time passes. And missing someone is not a sign that you are stuck. It is a sign that someone mattered deeply. Still, there are difficult thoughts that often appear in seasons of longing. Thoughts that say you should stop talking about them. Thoughts that tell you to hide your emotions. Thoughts that convince you your pain is a burden to others. Sometimes guilt enters the conversation. You regret words that were never spoken. You replay moments you wish had gone differently. You wish you had called one more time, visited one more time, stayed a little longer, listened a little more carefully, held them a little tighter. And those thoughts can become heavy, because grief often carries questions that cannot be answered, questions that remain suspended between memory and longing. But God does not condemn you for carrying those questions. He understands the complexity of love. He understands that human hearts often hold joy and sorrow at the same time. He knows there are days when memories make you smile, and other days when those same memories make you cry. Both are part of healing. Both are part of love. Another battle many people face is the fear that healing means letting go, as if finding peace somehow means leaving the person behind, as if moving forward means loving them less. But that is not true. Love does not vanish because healing begins. Love changes shape. It becomes gratitude. It becomes remembrance. It becomes a quiet presence carried within your heart. The people we love leave fingerprints on our lives. They shape who we become. They teach us lessons. They influence our choices. They leave behind stories that continue long after they are gone. And God sees all of it. He sees the moments when loneliness suddenly appears in the middle of an ordinary day. He sees the empty chair at the dinner table. He sees the holidays that feel different. He sees the silence where laughter once existed. He sees the private moments when tears come without warning. And He stays, not for a moment, not for a season, but continually. Because God's presence does not disappear when our hearts are hurting. In many ways, it becomes even more tender, even more personal, even more compassionate. And perhaps tonight, the battle is not about forgetting someone. Perhaps the battle is learning to believe that your heart can carry both love and peace, that you can treasure memories without living only in the past, that you can honor what was while still embracing what remains ahead. Because God is not asking you to erase your longing. He is gently teaching you how to carry it without allowing it to consume your joy. He is reminding you that even in absence, you are not abandoned, even in silence. You are not alone, even in grief. You are deeply loved, and while loss may always leave a mark, it does not have the final word over your life. God's love still reaches into the empty spaces. God's comfort still reaches into the wounded places, and His peace is capable of meeting you right where you are tonight. There comes a moment in every season of grief when healing quietly begins to enter places that once felt unreachable, not because you stop missing them, not because the memories fade, not because the love becomes smaller, but because God slowly teaches your heart that it is possible to carry love without being crushed by loss. At first, it may seem impossible. You cannot imagine smiling without feeling guilty. You cannot imagine feeling peace without wondering if you are leaving someone behind. You cannot imagine a day when remembering them will not hurt so deeply. Yet healing rarely arrives all at once. It often comes gently. It comes through small moments. A memory that makes you smile instead of cry. A story that brings gratitude instead of sorrow. A quiet realization that the love you shared still exists. Even though life looks different now, and perhaps this is the truth God wants you to hear tonight. The people we love never become meaningless because they are gone. Their kindness remains. Their lessons remain. Their impact remains. The love they gave continues to live inside the hearts they touched. What they meant to you still matters. What you shared still matters. The memories still matter. And God understands every part of that. He is not asking you to forget. He is inviting you to remember differently. To remember with gratitude. To remember with tenderness. To remember knowing that love is stronger than distance. Stronger than silence. And stronger than the years that pass. Slowly, your heart begins to understand that healing is not betrayal. Healing is permission to live again. Permission to laugh again. Permission to enjoy life again. Permission to carry beautiful memories forward instead of carrying only pain. And that shift changes everything, because you begin to realize that your story did not end when someone left. There are still people to love. There are still moments to experience. There are still blessings waiting to be discovered. There is still purpose ahead of you. There is still joy that God desires to place within your heart. The longing may remain. Some days may still be difficult. Certain dates may still feel heavy. Certain songs may still bring tears. But tears are not signs of weakness. They are signs that love mattered, and love that mattered is something worth honoring. So tonight, allow yourself to breathe. Allow yourself to cherish what was. Allow yourself to trust that God is holding both your memories and your future. Because even after loss, life can still hold beauty. Even after heartbreak, peace can still return. Even after goodbye, the hope can still grow. And little by little, God is leading your heart toward a place where love remains, memories remain, and peace finally begins to bloom beside them. When someone leaves your life, whether through distance, separation, or death, it can feel as though a part of your identity leaves with them. You remember who you were when they were there. You remember the conversations, the routines, the laughter, the small moments that once felt ordinary but now seem priceless. And sometimes, without realizing it, you begin to define yourself by what you have lost. You become the person who lost a spouse, the person who misses a parent, the person whose family changed, the person whose heart still aches. But God sees you differently. He sees someone whose life still carries purpose, someone whose story is still unfolding, someone whose value has never been reduced by loss. Because even though someone important is missing, you are not missing from God's plans. Your future still matters. Your present still matters. Your heart still matters. There are still gifts within you waiting to be shared. There is still kindness within you waiting to be given. There is still wisdom within you waiting to encourage someone else who feels alone. The love you carry was never wasted. It shaped you. It softened you. It taught you compassion. It gave you the ability to understand pain in a way many people never will. And perhaps that is part of your purpose now. Not to erase your memories, not to pretend your grief never happened, but to become living proof that a wounded heart can still love, that a grieving heart can still hope, that a person who misses someone deeply can still discover joy again. God has not abandoned the dreams you once had. He has not canceled your calling. He has not decided that your best moments are behind you. There are still meaningful conversations ahead, still beautiful mornings ahead, still friendships ahead, still laughter ahead, still moments that will remind you that life, even after loss, can still be filled with grace. And tonight, God wants you to stop seeing yourself only through the lens of absence. You are more than what you lost. You are more than the sadness you carry. You are more than the empty spaces in your life. You are someone deeply loved by God, someone seen by God, someone guided by God, someone held by God. The chapter that hurt you is real, but it is not the entire story. You are still growing, still healing, still becoming, and even in this season of longing, God is gently restoring parts of your heart that you thought might never feel whole again. So do not believe the lie that your life has become smaller because someone is gone. Love changed you. Loss changed you. But God is still shaping something beautiful within you, and the person you are becoming is someone who carries memories with tenderness, carries love with gratitude, and carries hope with renewed strength. You are still here. You are still needed. You are still deeply cherished, and your story is far from over. Perhaps the breakthrough you have been longing for is not the absence of pain, but the return of peace, not a life without memories, not a heart that no longer misses someone, but a heart that learns how to breathe again, a heart that can remember without being overwhelmed, a heart that can look back with gratitude instead of only sorrow. God is gently leading you toward that place, a place where memories become treasures instead of wounds, a place where love continues to live without keeping you trapped in yesterday, a place where you can honor the people you miss while still embracing the life that remains in front of you. And maybe tonight, God wants you to realize that healing has already begun. You survived days you once thought would break you. You carried burdens you never imagined you could carry. You made it through nights that felt unbearably lonely. And somehow, even through tears, disappointment, and longing, you are still here. That is not weakness. That is resilience. That is grace. That is evidence that God has been holding you, even when you did not feel His hands. There will still be moments when you miss them. Certain songs may still bring tears. Certain places may still feel empty. Certain memories may still catch you by surprise. But those moments no longer have to steal your joy, because love and healing can exist together. Longing and peace can exist together. Memories and hope can exist together. God never intended for your grief to become your permanent home. He intended for His comfort to walk beside you through it. And slowly, day by day, your heart begins to discover something beautiful. The person you love will always matter. The memories will always matter. But your future matters too. There are still people who need your kindness, still moments waiting to be experienced, still laughter waiting to return, still blessings waiting to unfold, still reasons to wake up tomorrow with expectation instead of fear. Because even after loss, God continues writing stories filled with purpose. Even after goodbye, He continues planting seeds of joy. Even after heartbreak, He continues restoring hope. And one day, you may look back and realize that while you never stopped loving them, you also never stopped living. You never stopped growing. You never stopped becoming. And that is the breakthrough. Not forgetting, not replacing, but discovering that God's love is large enough to hold your memories, your pain, and your future, all at the same time. Tonight, may your heart find rest. May God gently hold every memory that still brings tears to your eyes. May He comfort the empty places no one else can see. May He remind you that missing someone is not a weakness, but a reflection of love that was real and meaningful. You are not alone in your longing. You are not forgotten in your grief. God has seen every tear, heard every silent prayer, and stayed beside you through every difficult moment. May peace slowly replace your heaviness. May hope return to your weary heart. May cherished memories become a source of comfort rather than pain. And may you sleep tonight knowing that even in seasons of loss, you are deeply loved, gently carried, and faithfully held by God. Rest now. Healing is happening, even here, and tomorrow still holds beauty waiting for you.